All right, Adrian, can we go ahead and begin with whoever is around?
Yeah, no problem.
Okay.
No problem.
Yeah, so good morning once again, everyone. Well, welcome to our third session. It's nice to have you. And I'm not really a guy who is good at talking to groups of people. So if I'm getting nervous or jittery, just bear with me. And if you have any questions, or if I start mumbling or moving too fast, just slow me down and feel free to ask me if you have any follow-up questions. So I'm going to be co-hosting with Adrian, and we've been ironing out a few things which we would like to discuss with you. Let me just hand over to him right now if he has a few things he would like to say to you guys.
All right. Essentially, we've been going through how to best address this, and essentially we got to a point where we realized that in order to know how to move forward with this application, this wonderful application of ours, this Fuel Finder application, we're going to need a bit of input from everyone to try and map out the structure of the application, like the components that we need to build, services, and time allowing, we'll then just have a bit of fun coding around with creating a service and forms, and just a quick explanation on what services are and why we need to use services instead of just doing all the component and stuff like that. So yeah, that's, I don't know, essentially the gist of what the focus of today is going to be, just to really map out a way forward, because just to avoid dictating, you come in and you say, we're going to do it this way. There's so many people with so many different backgrounds, and your input is going to be important towards what steps we take next in building this application.
Okay, that's correct. That's agreed. So we realize most of us in the group here may be front-end developers, and so and we may have some back-end developers, but different back-end frameworks. As Adrian is saying, he's been working mostly with Laravel and PHP. We may have some guys who have been working with Node.js, and so to avoid just assuming how we're going to handle the back end, we want to table a discussion, and then we figure out how best we can implement things. And then Adrian and I are going to, over the next week, come up with a proper presentation now on how we would be implementing it. We had thought about using Firebase to avoid the hassle of setting up our own service. So yeah, that's what we've been working out through this past week. So let me bounce it back to Adrian, because Adrian is the only backend developer I know right now. Let's hear from him on what would possibly need. Then we can consider what components we can make based on that.
All right, thanks. So I was just reading about on the internet to try and see how best how we can essentially minimize needing to do any backend work, to just stay strictly confined within just what we're learning without going too far off topic. And one of the solutions that are available from Google is Firestore. So what Firestore does is that I don't know the exact details, but what it does is that it allows you to store, like to create a database on your Firebase console where you can then save stuff. You can even, for the case of our fuel find application, you can even create or add stations through the Firestore dashboard. Add stations and you can query them now with your application and like get the data displayed on your application. And it comes with some advantages of real-time data synchronization. And the good part about it is that Angular, the guys from Angular have created an integration like for Angular. So Angular at Angular/Fire. I believe it's already part of Angular, the Angular installation that we will have, like in this particular application that we have. So yeah, I feel that it'll be quite advantageous as it really just keeps us focused on the core of our business, which is to create Angular applications. Yeah.
Okay, so anyone from the group, can we hear what your thoughts are, guys? Hello? Guys?
All right.
Am I still there?
Yeah, you're still there. All right. I don't know, anyone, any participant? Yeah, see Gilbert is... Just feel free to say something, guys.
Because if Adrian and I go ahead and make the decisions today, it's like we are pretty much making up the app on our own, because these are key decisions now on how we'll be implementing it. So this is why we need some feedback from the group before we jump in to decide what to do.
All right, maybe while we're waiting, I could just maybe bring up what we discussed earlier when I was just essentially, in fact, yeah, what we discussed. All right, there's a message in the chats. Okay, so all right, just to make sense of it, the message I just joined, guys. Sorry, I'm yet to make sense of what's going on. So essentially, we need to come up with the structure of the application, how we're going to build it, like the components that we need, and like the database and the back end. So I'd recommended that we use Angular Fire so that we don't have to code any back end at all. We just import the module and just start using it in the application so that we have real-time data shared across all instances of the application. So now, to avoid having to dictate which path we go with, at this point we need just input from some other guys so that we don't just decide that, okay, we're going to put this in the application and maybe you guys feel that we should implement it in a different way. So before we move forward and start throwing things in, we want to hear what everybody else thinks in the group. Then we start throwing it in, like once we know that everyone is cool with it and so forth. I don't know if that makes sense.
Okay, Gilbert says we can't hear him. I don't know what's going on. He's not muted.
Yeah, he's not muted. It looks all right from this end. Because all the mics, there's Chamunorwa and Thor. I don't know. You're the host, Chif. I don't know if you mute or unmuting is on their end.
Okay.
Because when I with computer audio.
Let me mute and then unmute. Okay. And now unmute. Okay. Can Gilbert, can you try again? Hello there. Okay, perhaps you can type it out, and we'll just wait to hear your input.
All right. So, all right. While he's typing, just to bring out what we had discussed. So, obviously, there are some components that are obviously going to be there. There's the login component, obviously. Then there's the login form. There's the, I don't know, are we going to be covering registration? And yeah, see that there's so many things like authentication and so forth.
I mean, that's where the discussion comes now.
Yes. So yeah, that's why we need input. But there are some obvious ones, like obviously we need a list of, so there's, okay, maybe if you put authentication aside to simplify things a bit, we need a list of the stations. We need, that's one component. So that's a list of the station. Then we need a component to add new stations. Then we need a component to manage a station, so to edit, to delete it, that kind of stuff. Then, yeah, that's pretty much it. Like with the stations, obviously there's going to be a map that's going to be displayed on the a map that's going to be displayed for on the front end, which I guess then means that we would need some form of authentication so that we don't have just anyone coming in and editing the application. And I believe, again, with authentication, Firebase has something also to cover that. So, yeah.
Okay, so to recap what you're saying, just Adrian, we will need a user login component, right? And add and edit station, and a landing page for the user with a map.
Yes, and that's like on the front.
Also, search for stations.
Yes.
Okay. I'm just trying to jot that down also.
All right. Then maybe guys, if you can just you can write in the chat there. I mean, it'll also be we can also include it since mics seem not to be working.
Let me just share what I just listed.
All right. All right.
Okay.
Okay. So yeah. So right. Go on.
Yeah. So back to the components. Okay, if we can settle on, if we can hear from the others, if this, because this sounds like pretty much it. If we can, if the others have any input, it would be great. Otherwise, over the course of next week, Adrian and I will now figure out how we would possibly link this up with Firebase, and then we will do a presentation on that. Is there anyone with some input? Radio silence.
Okay, I think we look. Yeah. All right. I don't know. Just an idea. Do you mind just changing proposed components from .txt to .md?
Okay, sure.
The file. Yeah. Just change it to Markdown.
Okay, done.
Or you can also add that in.
Okay. In any case, I still won't be able to push to the repo today. I'll need to be given permissions by this guy, Maenzanise.
All right.
Okay. So, all right. I guess let's move on. In either case, we're going to be needing form components. And so I'll hand over to Adrian now to just give us a rundown on how to do the form components in Angular so that we can make the most of our meeting today. Is there anyone with some input or a question? Okay, great.
All right. So it's over to me now. So, okay. So while I was going through connecting with Firebase, I spent a lot of time with on the form itself. So with basically they try and make everything as modular as possible, and they don't want the components to deal with what's it called, like the any logic. Basically, the component should just display data, and anything else should be in a service. So, for instance, in our case, this form is going to be submitting, depending on what we agree on, this form is going to be submitting and saving data to Firestore. Then that means, again, that it should be a service that runs in the background. I don't know if you guys want me to demonstrate a form. Maybe, I don't know, it's up to you. Let me know if you want. All right, so go ahead with forms. How do I share my screen? Start, I believe it's the. Let's see. Chif?
Yes.
I don't know if you could point out how can I share my screen?
Are you?
I'm not too familiar with.
Okay. Just go to, I'm assuming you're using the same app as mine. Just go to the meetings tab. Do you have anything showing? Because I've just assigned you as host.
Okay, so you're okay. There's share. I see it. This will stop other screen sharing.
It's okay. Just go ahead.
Yes. All right. you'll find and click share. Okay, so I had cloned the repository that we have there. So, okay, I don't know, did we include routing, or I should say no to routing, but I'll just use the default.
I'll
just use the defaults. No, don't worry, I'll just use the defaults. So then ng serve should start the application. So what I'm going to do is, I think I'll create a component, then create a service, then put a form there. Are you global English? All right. These errors here with let's see. All right, it's compiling. It's fine. So once it's done, I'll then create. But you guys can see my screen, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Then I don't know if I switch to browser, do you see what's on the screen also? Or it only shows VS Code?
I can only see VS Code.
Okay. So I'll be switching between. All right. There you go. So now the first thing that we're going to do is generate component. This is just for. Sorry, I'm in the wrong folder. CD. Let's see. CD client. CD fuel find this. Okay, so now I'm in the right folder. So that's why I was getting errors. Anyways, generate component. So we're going to call it, I'll just call it something arbitrary, like add stage.
May I say something?
My spelling is. Yeah, go ahead.
Are we going to have multiple services, or oh no, I see you're creating a component. I thought you were creating it as a service.
No, I'm creating a component, and after creating a component, I'll create it.
Okay. I was going to suggest maybe we have a centralized service for all the major work.
Okay. All right. But this is just to demonstrate forms, NPM and its errors. Okay, so we have a component here. And this meeting is now unlimited minutes. Okay, great. So okay, so there's our new component at station. Let's see. Then let's go to the app component.html. I believe this should now appear. You guys can't see my browser, right? Let me see if I can sort that. Okay, do you want to be seeing the? All right, just copy this link. I'll share my. I'll bring up the browser just now. No, this one. Okay. Share screen. Can you see it?
Yes.
Well, you see now my screen, now the browser.
Yes.
All right, great. Add station is not a known component. Okay, I should also point out where I'm messing up. So I need to import my computer is freezing. So to import, I don't know, maybe you can help me out. To import, okay, add station, there it is. It's important. So why is it, I don't know if someone can help me out. Why is it not then rendering since it's imported here? It says it's not a known component and it's imported. Because what I did is I came to the app component and I have add station there. Compiled. Anyone?
I'm trying to check out what could be the case.
Right, because if I just replace this with general text, this is what appears, right? But if I then come and replace it with that, save, is there any step that I missed out? Okay, there's a chat here. Try add this at the bottom of the template.
Yes.
So
configuring Angular is a tricky thing, man.
Tricky thing, because when I did the, or should I bring out the previous, like the test I was doing, avoid having to spend time on add station. I guess I got the spelling wrong. I think station, add station. Spelling is correct. All right, let me bring out the previous project that I had open. Recent. All right, then we can have a look at this one instead. But now we'll just be looking at, out of context. Maybe what we can do is then maybe edit it a bit to just suit what we're trying to go for. So it was a simple, I was going through a tutorial on how to connect Angular and Firestore. So what do I do? Maybe I can just create another service. Okay, well, I'll create the same components that we're going to create here and put them in this project instead. So that we go through the forms. All right, let me open a new terminal. So ng generate a component, and this is called station, add station, add station. Okay, great. And I believe if we remove these and have add station there, save. Where's it running on? Okay, it's the same port. 1200. It's doing the same thing here. Power's almost slow. I don't know. Is there anything that I'm missing out here?
Can I see your add station file? The
because the add station, right?
Yeah, that one. That one.
This component, okay.
Okay.
It's
there.
Yeah,
there you go.
Thank you. Great, awesome. So, thank you. So now we've added our station component, and it works as expected. Great. Next thing that we need to do is we need to create a service. ng create service. Sorry, generate service and add. So this will add station so it's like so. Okay, great. So now we need to import a reactive forms module in our app, module.ts. So I had already imported in this on this line here. And I also made a bit of a blunder. You also need to then import it, add it in your imports there. Right. Then we need to go to our service now. Add station service. Then we need to import. So this essentially just works with importing modules that come in with Angular. So, I mean, it's also a way to know that like you can plug in a lot of things with Angular. Which I don't know, it because you can also put things like maybe Axios as an example, but one won't be using Axios in this example. But if you're connecting to another service, like the one that you mentioned, what's it called? That generates JSON.
Oh, that's JSON placeholder.
Yes, JSON placeholder. So we can like import Axios and then just use it in our application. All right, so form control, and we need to form group from there you go, Angular forms. Then after the constructor, we then need to create a form. Form is equal to new form group. And we need to pass in, so here we pass in the parameters that will be like watching in the form. So maybe we have station name, which is new form control. And then typos, station name. I don't know what else would we need from a station. Maybe location, right? Station location. Yeah, that's too long, eh? All right, that's fine. Station location. And this is also new form control. Then, so we've got the name, we've got the location, and station has fuel. This is a Boolean. Oh my power. Just give me a second before this shuts down. All right. So this form control, this is a Boolean, so defaults to false. Excuse me. And yeah, I think we're done here. Next step, we need to then use it in our component, add station component. First, we need to import it. So import, what did we call it? At station service. Import at station service from there you go. It's declared, but the value is never read.
I think it's TS, not spec at the end.
Oh yeah, you're right. Thanks for that.
Okay, sure.
And
then don't worry about the message. We're going to use it within this page, right?
Come again?
Okay.
Yeah. All right. So now in the constructor,
okay. Sorry. One more. I think we're not supposed to add the extensions. I'm new at this Angular thing. I keep getting. Yeah, just like that.
Just like that. All right. Let's try it that way and see. But like, what's it called? The way Webpack is configured, and I don't know if this uses Webpack, but essentially the compiler automatically sorts that kind of stuff out. Private, what we're looking for is the add a station service, and this is add station service. I don't know why it's importing this. It's not what we want. I have a feeling I missed a step. You guys let me know if I missed anything. Let me know if I missed anything. Okay, the error's gone, so I didn't miss anything.
It looks good.
Looks good, right? Yeah. See what's painful. That station component. What's painful is this. What's like you realize your errors when you check in the browser. All right, so now we need to have our form there, and I believe these are called directives. Pass form group. I'm still new to this, so you guys let me know if I am doing something that is unorthodox. This what did we call it here?
Add station service.
Yes.
It's add station service.
Yeah. I think it's yeah. Yeah, that's a long name. That. Then we have a form. I think this is fine. Now we're looking for the moment of truth. Okay. Okay, yeah, we're good to go. Yeah. Good. All right. So now we need to input. Add our inputs here. Type is text. It's fine. Then, form control name. You need to go back to those names in the. This thing keeps popping down. That's it. So this is where this comes in now. These station name here. So it comes in. I don't know. We can folder and station name. Let's add some bootstrap. Add a bootstrap to this. Then, because I'm lazy, I'm just going to duplicate that. Station location. Then we pass the station location there, and form control. If we did everything correctly. Yeah. Well. Okay, form group expects a form group instance. These class one instance. Did I skip a step? Let's see. If you guys see anything, just feel free to let me know. Just trying to make sure that everything is in order. Let me look at the previous example. pretty much the same. Add station component. So we have our form group, this that add station service dot form. Form group expects a form group instance.
Okay, Adrian, may I see the file? May I see the file again?
This file.
The TypeScript.
The TypeScript.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, okay. So, okay. The form is getting handled by the service.
Yes.
Okay.
So that dot at the end comes in from the service.
So may I see the service also?
So the service is this one, which has this, which is what we're referencing to.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can't spot what it can be. Figuring out my way through.
Yeah, it's like it's funny. It's tiny little details that like maybe it's the name or something. Because this service, I think I did something silly. I didn't import this here. So I'm supposed to import it here. Goodness. So it's add station. Like so. Like so. And we're supposed to add it here. Like so. What's the error now? Form group expects a form group. +1. I don't know. Do you guys see anything? Because this is the last thing that we need to clear out, then we're good to go. Unless, yeah, form group expects a form group instance, which is in, so we have form group, add station service, which is a form group instance. Add station component has the service there. Add station service in the constructor. But yeah, essentially, once you get this working, that would be all of this. Station name, station location, as fuel. In reference to the working version, so service here is there. This is another one. It's important. And no, we don't need this here. Add station component. Okay, so this means that what happens if you It beats the whole purpose now. The whole purpose of connecting with the server. All right. Let me just have one quick look. Why is this grayed out? It's also grayed out here. Yeah, it looks like I'm almost defeated. So you mean like this, I put it in the, no, but add station. Because once we get this going, that's when we can then look at handling the submit and all of that. I don't know. Maybe I could hand over to you.
One thing. I'm not sure if it would make a difference. Can you just check may I just see your screen on where we are importing?
Where we're importing on
in add station T component.ts.
Add station component.ts.
Yeah. When you use private or in the constructor, if you were to use public, does it change?
The scope.
Yeah, I had an issue like that at some point. Something similar. It was resolved by that. I don't know if this would be the case also.
Okay, I've switched it to public and still have the same. Still have the same.
Angular.
I don't know, Gilbert. Is there anything that you can point out to? Because everything seems fine. Because we go, first of all, we must import it here and add it amongst the providers. Then we must import it up top here. So that makes it available for us to use as a service. Then, yeah, I don't know, maybe I could hand over to you, maybe while I figure it out in the background. Then once I have the solution, I'll get back to you.
Okay. Actually, during time, I think we wrap it up for tonight, and then we'll pick it up from here in our next session.
Okay. No, that's
unless you have something else to top up on. We're done with an hour already.
Yes, we're done. So I suppose what's important now is to figure out what components are we need to create. Then I guess what I can do also is I can tomorrow in the morning I can have this. I can create a fully functional project, then share.
Okay, that.
All right. So yeah, like that's what he said. I'll create the repository. Then you can have a look, Gilbert, and everyone else. But like, I like what happened here because like on a day-to-day basis, this is what programming is all about. Like trying to figure out issues. Tiny little mistakes are what make the difference, you know.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
In this case, it's great if we help each other to figure out our way around this Angular thing, because I think most of us are really new to it.
Yeah. Yeah. I like your comment. Yes, especially this hour. Yeah, so you forget tiny little things. You know what's funny is that I would have forgotten to import something somewhere. Yeah, true. Practice makes perfect. All right, so I'll create a repository for this, then share it in the group. Then you can just look at it and see. And even if I figure it out, I'll just keep the broken one also, so that you can figure out the bugs.
So you can push it as it is. Then later on, when you finish, then push the new one so we can compare.
Okay, no, that's fine. That's fine. That is fine.
Okay. So thank you once again, guys. Those of you who joined us, thank you so much, Adrian, for co-hosting with me. I would not have done this without you. And possibly tomorrow, and maybe even up to Monday, maybe we can continue chatting on the WhatsApp group with regards to implementation and components.
All right.
Let's work with those who are eager to chip in and those who want to. Let's hear from them. Otherwise, after that, Adrian and I will just figure out how to tie things up with Firestore and then give you a proper rundown, probably a redo of the presentation in our next session.
All right.
I don't know, anything else, Adrian?
No, I think that's pretty much it. I think essentially what was important though is to understand how it all connects to each other. Like, so the whole goal of creating a form that's in a service that does its own thing, it's to abstract some of the functionality from the component itself. So you don't want anything doing too much work. So now it makes it easier. We can have guys that focus on services. Then we have guys that work on different components. That's how we can then put a complete project in a big team. That's how we, even like places like Google, that's how they work with these items. They have guys working on smaller modules and coming up with a fully complete project. I think we can also do that. Yeah, but that's pretty much it. And I'd like to thank everyone for coming through. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Okay, thank you guys and good morning.
Good morning.